morning, everybody. Welcome. Hello and welcome to OEN Engage. We're kicking off the week this morning. My name is David Ernst. I am the Executive Director of the Open Education Network, and I have the great honor and pleasure of kicking off the OEN Community Engage Week. Before we get going, I have a few quick housekeeping items. Note that this session is being recorded to benefit those in our community who aren't able to attend, and links will be shared out to the recording after the event, so you'll have that. If you have comments or questions during this session, feel free to submit them via the chat. We'll do our best to address them. I'm also going to try to save about 15 minutes at the end of this. If you want to save it for the end, you're welcome to do that as well. One of our main goals this week is to make sure that everyone feels welcome. That's what our community is about, and we do it in a number of different ways. One is with our community norms. Note the link there to the community norms. Please, I encourage you to familiarize yourself with them. The goal there, again, is to make sure everyone feels welcomed and like they belong here. They're there to remind us that we're a community and we treat each other as so. It's also why you might see us using pronouns for that reason. It's also why we take time to recognize the indigenous people who are the original stewards of the lands in which we live and work. It's why we do land acknowledgements. So if you have a land acknowledgement you use for where you live or work, please feel free to share that in the chat if you'd like to. For example, here's the land acknowledgement for the University of Minnesota where we work. We acknowledge that the University of Minnesota Twin Cities is built within the traditional homelands of the Dakota people. It's important to acknowledge the peoples on whose land we live, learn, and work as we seek to improve and strengthen our relationships with our tribal nations. I especially like this second part. We also acknowledge that words are not enough. We must ensure that our institution provides support, resources, and programs that increase access to all aspects of higher education for our American Indian students, staff, faculty, and community members. I like it because that last part really meshes well with what we do in the OEN. Ensure that our institutions provide support, resources, and programs that increase access to all aspects of higher education. Right? Isn't that what we do every day? All right, so here we go. Welcome to the first session of 2025 OEN Engage Week. Again, my job today is just to give you a brief update on how things are going in the OEN community, including where we're headed and what we see on the horizon. Here's the agenda for today. A brief summary of kind of where we're at with membership and the size of the organization. And then more importantly, I think, going over what we're hearing from you in the community about what you need, the challenges you're facing. We'll talk briefly about what things we're doing to address those challenges. And then I want to talk about a couple of transitions that are important to this organization that we want you to know about. All right, so let's start off with the community itself. The community continues to grow. We have 311 colleges and universities that are members directly. We have 35 statewide systems or consortia that support nearly 1,600 colleges and universities themselves. The total number of institutions then that we reach or have some impact on is just under 1,900. I think that's about 100 institutions larger than last year. So again, we continue to grow. We have members in all 50 US states. We have a member in Australia. We have members in Canada. And we have a growing number of members in the United Kingdom and Ireland, which I'll talk about a little bit later, what's going on there. So again, we're continuing to grow. I can't talk about the OEN without talking about the guiding principles that have just been so incredibly important in defining who we are as an organization and a community. It's helped us stay focused on who we are during strategic planning or any large or small decision that we make. I want to highlight one of these principles. I think I highlighted this same one last year too, but I feel like it's so important. It's it's the shared abundance one. It's the belief that together we have what it takes to solve our own problems. Even though I know that it often doesn't feel like we have a lot in our own institutions with budgets the way they are, and the challenges that we face with time and money and energy and resources and staffing, but together we have to believe that we can do more together than individually, right? Otherwise, why do we even exist? So we already have a community that supports each other, and from the responses people give on our listserv to service that they provide to different groups, we're doing more together. And as an example of that, let me show you what we're accomplishing and what our individuals are contributing to the larger cause. Here's our steering committee. Our steering committee provides essential community perspectives to us. We have monthly meetings. They offer timely feedback on things that are happening or things we're thinking about doing. And they work to support the current and future membership in that way. And we're so grateful for their service. We have workshop centers. Did you know that you could have an OEM workshop presented on your campus by one of these presenters? You just need to ask and we can talk about it. But these are seasoned members who have done this many times and are willing to travel and help you with that. We have a publishing co-op advisory group who's responsible for developing open textbook publishing vision and support for the whole community. We have a Pub 101, which is committee, which is oversees the Pub 101 program, which is kind of an informal synchronous orientation to open textbook publishing based on we have an openly available curriculum on textbook publishing. We have 2 certificates and instructors who are willing to step up and do that hard work of being instructors in these certificate programs. First is the certificate in open educational leadership. And then our instructors in the certificate for open practices. Sorry, I named that one wrong. The certificate in open education librarianship and the certificate in open pedagogy. We also have an event planning committee, and a special shout goes out to those good people because they plan all our community events. They help plan them, including this week. So special thanks to them. Now, I kind of ran through those people pretty fast. If you want to see how people are involved in this community, feel free to check out our webpage. This is what this community is about. There are lots of benefits to being part of this community, but people are giving back in really important ways. I also want to mention that our community is growing in a different way too. We've been involved in the UK and Ireland for several years, had conversations, run some workshops over there. But just this last year, there's been a real uptick in interest in the UK and in Ireland based on their financial stresses that they're seeing right now. They've asked us to come in and host and facilitate some things for them. So we're hosting a website for them. We're helping them organize events and communications and facilitating their meetings and conversations that they're having. And also they're doing the hard work of contextualizing our OEN programs, which are very North American and US centric. So we're really excited to have this kind of growing new community that will add richness and expertise to this community. Pretty exciting. So that's a very quick update on the organization itself. Now, more importantly, I think, what we're hearing from you. And we hear from you all the time. We have a lot of events that we host, and from the NICE group, tea time, our learning circles curriculum, our trainings, any of the trainings that we do. But we also make a more formal effort to capture the community's thoughts and needs in the community scan. This is something we did this last year. And you identified challenges that you are facing. And you may have read the report that came out, but here are the top 5 challenges. These first 3 are pretty interrelated, I think. They're lack of time, energy, capacity, and funding, lack of support from institutional leadership, and engaging faculty due to lack of time, incentives, and directives. Those are pretty interlinked challenges. The fourth one is automatic textbook billing models. Obviously, that's been on the rise for years. We saw that initiated here at the University of Minnesota this last year. And the fifth one, limitations and uncertainty related to the current political climate. That's a new one. So what are we doing? Like I said, those top 3 are pretty interrelated, and let me go back to those for a second. And there are really 2 ways that we're addressing those 3. One is to make things as easy as possible for you and for faculty, right? I mean, if you're lacking time, energy, and capacity, developing programs or implementing programs that are easier, take less time, take less capacity is going to benefit people. The other way that we're addressing it is in finding ways to educate and support your leadership and helping them give you the support that you need. And here are the ways that we're doing it. We've provided a number of faculty development, a number of pathways related to adoption. There's one related to publishing, and there's one related to open pedagogy. And you'll notice that this week, each day is themed. Tomorrow, Tuesday, is about adoption. You can attend training there about our adoption workshops and the pathway that it isn't just about the workshop, but it's about the process and engagement strategies that we have for faculty. You can learn about specific strategies and specific ideas about how to run those programs by attending those workshops tomorrow. On Wednesday, we have a similar lineup related to publishing. There's training on how to run a workshop for your faculty. There's training on, there's discussions even about specific platforms like our pilot platform that Manifold that we support and is available to all of our users. And then on Thursday, it's the same thing with open pedagogy. And so I hope that you take advantage of this week and dive into these things and see if there's something new that you haven't tried before. Again, these are programs that we've tried over and over again and have found that we believe that they can help. And then senior leaders. So these are the people who we're defining senior leaders as those people who make, budget, program, and staffing decisions and understand how open education can help address their strategic priorities. That's what we're trying to do, and to understand what they can do to support such efforts. So one thing we're doing is we're going to be holding regular senior leaders seminars. Last fall, we partnered with the regional compacts. That includes the Midwestern Higher Education Compact, the New England Board of Higher Education, the Southern Regional Education Board, and the Western Interstate. I can't read, my eyes I'm getting old. WICHE. And the goal is they have reach into leadership. They have ways to communicate with university, college leadership in ways that we don't. So we partnered with them to communicate about a senior leaders seminar that we held last fall. We had 80 senior leaders show up, very successful. We felt like the response we got, the survey we gave afterwards, The attendees said that it was very helpful and very useful. And we heard from some of our members that their leaders learned some things. And so we're going to do that on a regular basis. We're not charging money for it. We're just doing it because we feel like it's a benefit to everybody. And so you'll see communications this fall about it. We might need your help in getting senior leaders to attend it. But again, one of the always near the top of the list of challenges is getting senior leader support. So that's why we're doing that for you. We're also developing a set of guidance for leaders, ways for them to align open education programs to their strategic priorities. And also to then decide on what are the best strategies and tactics that they can take. And then what are some of the infrastructure that's needed programmatically, finances, HR, staffing, programmatic support do these programs need? This is something that we were hoping to unveil, I guess, even this week. Unfortunately, it was funded by a federal grant, which was canceled last spring. But we're still committed to getting it done. It's just going to take us a little longer than we hoped. And we worked with Paul Stacy, who some of you may know. He's the past executive director for Open Ed Global on this, and he's provided some really thoughtful leadership on this. So you'll be seeing that sometime soon as well. One other thing we're trying to do to make things easier for you is provide some publishing. When it comes to publishing, some publishing platforms. I already mentioned Manifold, which is available for anyone, any member to use. Kedi is another one that is that we will be piloting soon. It's labeled as a single source book production software, and we really hope that it's something that can be used to reduce effort in textbook publishing. One other thing that we're going to be piloting, and this is in partnership with COCO, which is the Collaborative Knowledge Foundation. They're the hosts, the owners of Kedi, is that we'll be piloting some AI work with them, integrating some AI to solve some common publishing challenges. One challenge that we've certainly heard lately is accessibility. Right? We're all under this mandate that all of our materials need to be accessible by next spring. That's really hard. If you look through the Open Textbook Library, there are a lot of PDFs in there that are probably not as accessible as they need to be. So the first project we're going to work on is by integrating AI and creating AI workflows that can take PDFs and make them using Kedi, make them more accessible. And I won't say too much more about this, but the whole goal of the Kedi and the AI pilot project is to make sure we've come up with workflows that stay human-focused and human-controlled and is community-guided to make sure if we run into any issues of usefulness or appropriateness or setting community norms that we have the community there to help us understand what we should be doing. So that's something you'll be hearing about soon. We already have a pilot group lined up for that, and I really thank those people for helping with that. But that's coming soon, and we hope that it's successful and we can roll it out more widely. We've been asking ourselves, one other thing, we've been asking ourselves whether there are things we can do to more directly support faculty. Traditionally, we've avoided that, to be honest. We're leaving that kind of relational on-the-ground work to you, who are in the best position to do it well. But we're starting to have conversations about ways that maybe we can provide more direct support to faculty, but completely keeping you in control in ways that make your job easier and more effective. It might include offering regular faculty workshops. We've been talking about that for some time, maybe some faculty communities, so they can talk to each other about their open education work, and we don't know what else, but that's something we're just starting conversations on now. We'll see. More to come. And then the last challenge that I listed earlier, number 5, was limitations and uncertainty related to current political climate. And this is a tough one. We're starting this conversation this Friday, and we really hope that you can attend this session. It's Friday. This is Central Time, 10:30 to 11:30. The title of it is Cultivating Community in Times of Uncertainty. It will include community members who a couple of community members who have agreed to share their stories. They live in states where they're really being impacted by the current political climate. And so they've been brave enough to kind of share their stories. We welcome anybody else who wants to come and share their stories. And you'll notice I put on the bottom there, who should attend this? If your work is being impacted by shifting policies, I highly encourage you to be there. I think it's important in times like this that we have community. And so I think you could really benefit from other people, from hearing from other people who are being affected as well. But then I also listed who else should attend if your work is not being impacted by shifting policy. So in other words, everyone should be there, either whether they are or not. And the reason for that is because number 1, they're not being affected yet. They still could be. I know that most of us are feeling that at least in a small way, no matter where we are. But also, as a community, we have a role in supporting each other. So not only should you be there for your own self-interest, for your own, preparation for if this happens to you someday, but also to support those people, to find out if there are ways that we can support those people who are dealing with this directly. And that's what communities are about. All right. All right. And lastly, this is quick here. Some transitions, 2 transitions I want to let you know about. One is that we need to this year do some sustainability planning. So in the next several months, well, should tell you that in 2020, this organization did a 5-year sustainability plan that went from 2021 to it'll be the 2026, the end of this fiscal year, right? July until the end of June of 2026. That plan included things like membership targets. We kind of pledged to grow our program fees, and also an increase in the community fees to get them up to a level where we're less reliant on soft funds. We've gotten and it worked really well, I should say. We've gotten ourselves to a place where we're about 50% funded by soft funding, by the Hewlett Foundation specifically, who we're so grateful for. But that still leaves us vulnerable, and we want to make sure that we continue on that trajectory and that we plan to be more self-sustaining in some ways. And so that planning needs to continue for this. We need to make another 5-year plan. We need to continue to reduce our reliance on grant funding. We need to we have a few new expenses. We have a 5% increase in our overhead, which is a small amount, and the amount of overhead we paid at the University of Minnesota is tiny, actually, but they've increased it. And also, we need to plan for an executive director salary. Some of you may know or not know that this isn't my job. I have another job. I supervise about 30 people in an academic and information technology unit in the University of Minnesota. And so someday, we'll talk about that in a minute, but someday we will need to hire an executive director, and that will include a salary. So there are some other expenses that we need to consider, and we need to do all this all while staying aligned with our principles and our community focus. I mean, we're not going to be putting advertisements in books. We're not going to be cross-listing commercial textbooks in the library. We're not going to be, there's things um, we could do to raise money, but we want to do it with integrity and aligned with who we are and what we're trying to accomplish. And then the second transition is a leadership transition. And as I just mentioned, um, I am announcing today that this will be my last OEN Engage as executive director. And in the next few months, you'll see a new position become available for the OEN's executive director, it'll continue to be based at the University of Minnesota. And I'll continue in this role until that new hire is made. The reasons for this, just to be clear, the OEN is doing really well. It's a successful organization, and it is really doing well, and I'm excited about its future. But I have been living a double life for the last 13 or 14 years, and I also think that it's time for the OEN. It's a mature enough organization that it really needs a full-time executive director. It needs some new ideas. It needs some energy and a spark that I think a new executive director will bring to that. The OEN community deserves that, and the OEN staff deserve that. So um, I guess I want to just stop for a second and let's see if I can do this here. And just say that I need to take this moment and kind of express how I feel. And to be honest, it's kind of weird. I've been thinking about this for months, this moment for months. And it's the only part of this presentation I haven't written down because there just was nothing, I couldn't figure out how to write this down, but I can tell you how I feel. So I'll just have to kind of speak from the heart here. And that's what I feel most strongly is gratitude, to be honest. I have gained so much from this network. I feel like I've gained much more than I've given. Um, it's just an amazing group of people. I can't even begin. It's people, just the integrity, the thoughtfulness. Um, they're just committed, principled, smart, passionate, compassionate, community focused. And that's why we are who we are today, is because of this community, because of that. And I've tried to figure out, at one point I tried making a list of all the people I should be thanking. Not possible. And I feel bad about that because I feel like I should specifically be thanking so many people. It's been, again, 13 or 14 years of people who have supported me, who have supported this community. And I'm just so thankful for that. I will thank um, the one person who I think is who has taught me more than anything, has always been there, has been inspirational, enthusiastic, supportive, and that's you, that one person. I know that seems kind of weird, but it's all of you individually. And this community wouldn't exist without the individual contributions you all made. And you may think, oh, I haven't contributed anything, but you do. You answer questions on the mailing list, you attend sessions like this, you provide community fees, which support all the programming. Like that is a contribution that you make. If you feel like I'm going to give you a tip here. If you feel like you haven't experienced what I just expressed about this community, then I really encourage you to reach into this community a little stronger. Find a way to get involved. Join the Colleague Connector program. Like that's what that whole program is about, is connecting people with each other. Times are a little dark right now, and we could all use a friend, a colleague, a community. And I hope you can find a way to leverage this community of people who really are amazing. You won't be disappointed if you make the effort. And so I really, really strongly encourage you to do that. But I digress. See that? Okay. All right. So, so thank you. Thank you to everyone here. I'll be sending an email out a little bit later with these kind of details as well about my stepping away. Our college leadership has requested that members of this community express your hopes for, essential qualities that you'd like to see in an executive director and who, can lead the OEN into the future. So I'm actually begging you to please submit your thoughts. They don't know that much about the OEM's principles and qualities that I think you understand, and they really need to hear from you. And they're asking for it. They have committed to reading every comment that comes in. So so I'm asking to fill out that form. I was trying to paste that in. Thank you, Karen. I was trying to it's just one question. It really just asking you, what are you looking for in a new leader? Someone who can lead it into the future, and please fill that out. We have until Friday, August 1st to get that done. So you have, what is that, a couple of weeks? And then I'll also provide a summary of the responses back to the community. Now, I especially want to thank these folks. These are the ones who really get the work done every day. Tanya, Tonya, Karen, Chayang, Andy, Barry, Barb, Jamie, Lorraine, they all, they're the ones who right? You don't know me so much because you see these folks on the front line getting all of the work done, from the educational programs to communications to running the publishing program, the open textbook library, the hub, the dashboard, and all the administrative support and program support that we get, community engagement, open educational practices, and the trainings and the workshops. There's just so much that this kind of small and mighty team does and will continue to do. So a special, special thank you to them. And now I'm going to point you outwards to the week and say, I really hope you are engaged, and I really hope that you take advantage of what's out there this week. You never know, you might learn something new. Drop into these sessions. I would encourage you to go to the URL at the top. I can't guarantee I transcribed every single session correctly in the time, so go to that URL on the top and look at the real schedule. And I hope you have a great week, and I hope you help others have a good week as well. It's part of our community. So I'm a little bit over time, but I think we have about 10 minutes left. For any questions you have about where the OEN is going, different program ideas that I brought up. I haven't been watching the chat. Karen, anything?
There is some things.
Okay.
So I haven't seen any questions come in yet, but there has been a lot of appreciation for your leadership and heartfelt work and what you've contributed to the community.
Thank you.
Acknowledgement that this community offers a lot to one another. But we do welcome your questions if there are things on your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, and Angela saw my old maps. I just got back from a trip from Scotland where my family is originally came from. That's an 1800s map of Scotland. I hope that also, if you have in your head some qualified candidates you feel like would be good candidates for this job of executive director. I know there are a lot of them out there, and in this community. Please reach out, encourage them to look into this and see if it's something that they maybe want to consider. So Yeah, thanks, Amy. A bit of sadness. I feel the same way. I'm equally as attached. Again, I'll be sending out an email today just to make sure that the whole community is all aware of the transition in leadership. So not just the people who are able to attend here today. Any other thoughts here about the challenges that were listed, ideas, questions about what we could be doing, comments, things you need? Heather, I as much as I'm wanted, I will be happy to. I will definitely still be around. Again, I'm not retiring. I will still be at the university. I'm sure I'll still be involved in some way. I'm still the PI on the grants that are involved at this point, but I would really serve at the pleasure of whoever this next leader is. If they want me out of the picture, that's understandable. But I'm always also very happy to have some kind of transition time. In fact, it's kind of it's one of the reasons the timing has worked out really well. I'm not oftentimes when a transition happens, someone leaves, there's a period of time, and someone comes in. There's no transition or overlap. That'll be available here if wanted. So yeah, thank you. Yeah. All right, thank you. Thanks, Cheryl. August 1st, Jenny. August 1st. And that'll be an email that goes out today too. So, yep. Okay, well, if there aren't any other questions, I think we could wrap it up. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, and have a great week. Thank you.